It's time to preview, predict, and prognosticate away here on Talking 10 TV. I'm Andy Coppins, founder and publisher of Talking10.com. It's week 5 of the college football season, and it's all B1G all the time now. Friday Night Football is back as well, but we're here to talk about the biggest matchups of the weekend. And on the docket now are two programs in need of a Big Ten win, Iowa and Michigan State. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get to previewing, predicting, and prognosticating. How do both teams rebound after last week's disappointments? That's my burning question this week. Simply put, Iowa and Michigan State disappointed last weekend in very different ways, and it leads to a vital cross-divisional game between two teams in need of a win in a very bad way. Now, Iowa, we don't need to tell you, they lost in about as heartbreaking of a fashion as humanly possible, letting Penn State complete every kid's dream. A last-second touchdown pass to win the game. And had it happened to them inside their own stadium, no less. That kind of a loss can be a crossroads for a season. Either the Hawkeyes pull together and become a West Division contender, or they let disappointment fester and never really move on from the loss. If it's the latter, Iowa is in serious trouble when they head into East Lansing on Saturday, and likely beyond. If it's the former, Michigan State may be the team that's in trouble here. Speaking of that, MSU was the recipient of a massive beatdown at home to rival Notre Dame on Saturday night. It came just as some of the national and Big Ten media pools were starting to believe the old school salty Spartans defense was back, and the offense, it was rounding into form. Yeah, that's not at all what we saw last weekend, and a loss to Iowa this weekend could mean some real trouble for the hopes of getting back to respectability for the Spartans. These two teams badly need a win, but which team will show its over heartbreak from last week? There is your key to which team takes this Week 5 matchup. Two key stats. Up first, the number 500. Both coaches come into this contest with a 500 record in their series with the other school. Kirk Ferentz, who's the elder statesman of the Big Ten, is 7-7 in his tenure at the helm of the Iowa program. Meanwhile, Mark D'Antonio, 4-4 against Iowa. Obviously, something is going to have to give here, and somebody's going to have a sub 500 and above 500 record. But I also point this stat out to point out just how evenly matched these programs have been over the years. Now let's see if it means a quality contest on Saturday as well. My second stat is the number 10. That's right, Iowa ranks 10th in the Big Ten in rushing offense and rushing defense. That's not good news for the Hawkeyes in this matchup at all, because Michigan State's offense is 4th in rushing offense, averaging a whopping 220.7 yards per game. And meanwhile, Iowa's defense was gashed last weekend for 295 yards by Penn State. It's also interesting to note because Iowa has one of the quote-unquote bigger names in the run game across the Big Ten in senior Akram Wadley. However, Iowa has only been able to produce 155.5 yards per game and were held to just 82 yards on the ground by Penn State last weekend. Simply put, the Hawkeyes don't win when they can't run the football and they can't stop it on defense. And they certainly did neither of those last weekend. Can they do them this weekend and earn a victory in East Lansing? My three key players this week, well, two of them are running backs and another one is the guy in charge of stopping them. First up, LJ Scott, Michigan State's running back. Now, few players have failed to live up to preseason hype the way LJ Scott has at Michigan State. Scott has just 186 yards and 1 touchdown through 3 games this season. He also has had an issue fumbling the football. If the Spartans want to win, they've got to get more consistent and dangerous production from one of the supposed leaders on this team. It's not exactly good news when you're a running back in MSU's offense and you're looking up at a quarterback leading the rushing charts through 3 weeks. Let's see if that can stop in Week 5. The other running back, well, that's Iowa's Akram Wadley. And while Saquon Barkley was busy doing an all-purpose number on Iowa's defense, Wadley has largely been doing the same to other opponents all season long. He ranks number 2 in the Big Ten and number 6 nationally, averaging 166.3 all-purpose yards per game. Wadley leads Iowa in rushing, receiving yards, and touchdowns. He's got 2 receiving and 2 rushing touchdowns. Michigan State's defense hasn't done well with players with multiple skill sets, hence what happened last weekend. So Wadley's ability to be versatile for Iowa's offense is going to be key. The other player, that's Iowa linebacker Josey Jewell. And sometimes stats just jump off the page at you, and that is certainly the case for Iowa senior linebacker Josey Jewell. His 44 tackles lead the Big Ten and are ranked 9th in the country to date. So too does his average of 11 tackles per game. He's not only stuffing the stat sheet, he's also a leader and needs to show up in a big way against a Michigan State offense that can be very dangerous when it puts it all together. Will that happen on Saturday? Jewell's play will likely have a large factor in just that. It's time to get to the predictions portion of our preview, predicting, and prognosticating here on Talking 10 TV. And while it's certainly tempting to pick the home team in this series, this isn't a great matchup for the Spartans. Iowa's quarterback Nate Stanley has been on fire, tossing 12 touchdowns already this season and has faced plenty of hostile and large environments before. I'll trust that Iowa's defense can eliminate the big plays that have also helped Michigan State thus far this season. Mark D'Antonio's nightmare continues as his team drops a second straight home contest. Iowa wins 31-17 in East Lansing. For Talking 10 TV, I'm your publisher, Andy Coppins, and don't forget you can check us out on Twitter at TalkingB1G, and also you can subscribe below. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button, and if you're already subscribing, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, and tell the boys as you hang out and watch a Big Ten plethora all weekend long. Take care and keep on living the B1G life.